Hi guys, this is Sadek from Debugging.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to install the TWRP recovery on the OnePlus 8, OnePlus 8 Pro, OnePlus 8T and the OnePlus 9R based on Android 13. So till Android 11, things were quite simplified. With Android 12, things got a little bit complicated, but with Android 13, things have got out of the hands. There are a lot of complications with regards to how you take a backup, restore a backup and flashing the recovery file. But I will try to simplify this guide and make it quite easy for you to install the recovery file. But before doing so, let's check mark a few requirements. First and foremost, I will recommend you to remove all the passwords from your phone. So I'm talking about the lock screen password. So go to settings menu, then go to privacy, password and security, and remove the lock screen password from your phone. Once that is done, I will also recommend you to take a backup of the stock recovery partition. As you might be aware, the biggest advantage of all these four phones, the OnePlus 8, 8 Pro, 8T and 9R, is that they have a separate recovery partition, so they will not conflict with the boot partition. So we will be flashing the TWRP recovery on the recovery partition itself. But before that, let's take a backup of the stock recovery partition on your phone. For that, there are quite a few approaches. But first off, go to settings menu, then go to about device, then go to version and make sure to note down the build number. Now download the same firmware which correspond to this build number. If you don't want to download the firmware, then you could also use the MSM tool readback mode. Using the readback mode, you could simply extract the recovery.img file from your phone which is currently installed. That process I have also made a separate guide and a video on the same. In the video I have shown regarding the boot.img, you just have to replace the boot.img with the recovery file. It will show a list of all the partition which is currently installed on your phone. Just checkmark the recovery partition and type in OnePlus as the password and click OK, and the MSM tool will extract the stock recovery part from your phone. However, if you don't want to use the MSM tool, then you could simply download the same firmware which is installed onto your phone from the Oxygen Updater app or from the OnePlus official site. Once you have got that, you will then have to extract the Fastboot enhanced tool onto your PC. So this is the tool. Now extract the firmware file and you will get a payload.bin file. So place the payload.bin file under the Fastboot enhanced folder. Now launch the Fastboot enhanced exe file. Then go to payload dumper, hit the browse button. Now select the payload.bin file. And now you have to go to partitions and search for the recovery partition. Just a minute, let me search for that recovery partition. Select recovery, checkmark allow incremental, and then click on extract image and select a location and click OK. So with this, we have got a backup of the stock recovery. So in case something goes wrong, we could easily flash the stock recovery and our phone will be up and running once again. So with that said, let's get started. Just verify that you have got a stock recovery partition. As you could see, this is the stock recovery in my case. Make sure it's the same version which is currently installed onto your phone. You could verify the same from the build number. So on that note, let's now get started. First and foremost, you have to download and extract the Android SDK platform tools. So download the same from this link and extract them onto your PC. As you could see, these are the files of the platform tools folder. Once you have got all these files, let's now move ahead to the next step. But before that, I am setting an obvious statement that your phone should be running the latest Oxygen OS 13, Android 13 on both the slots. If that is not the case, then please install the latest build from the settings menu on your phone or from the Oxygen Updater app. So make sure it's running the latest build on your phone. With that said, we have got the SDK platform tools as well. Moving on, you now have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required to execute ADB command, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now carry on both this task. For that, go to settings menu, then go to about device, then go to version and tap on build number 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. So go back, go to additional settings and you should now see developer option. So enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking and as well as USB debugging. You will get a prompt on your phone. So let me do so once again and show you. Enable it, you will get a prompt, tap on OK, and with this you might get an RC key fingerprint prompt as well. So tap on allow. So let's now verify the debugging connection. So go to platform to folder address bar, type in cmd and hit enter. This will launch the command prompt window. One more thing, make sure that the system UI is here selected as file transfer. If it's charging only, then your phone will not be visible on your PC. So make sure to change it to file transfer. And once that is done, let's now verify the debugging connection. So type in ADB devices and make sure that you are getting a serial ID. If you're not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone on the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB tweaks and make sure that you're getting a ID. Once you're getting this ID, your next course of action is to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that doing so will wipe off all the data and it might make the warranty null and void as well. If that's well and good, you could refer to my guide and unlock the bootloader. It's the same guide for all the OnePlus phone. What you have to do is simply boot your phone to fastboot mode. I will show you that as well. So for booting to fastboot mode, just use the ADB reboot bootloader command, and then you have to execute the fastboot flashing unlock command. Type in this command and you will get a prompt on your phone. Use the volume key to highlight unlock the bootloader and press the power key to confirm. The bootloader will now be unlocked onto your phone and your phone will boot to the OS. Once it boot to the OS, make sure to re-enable USB debugging on your phone. Once that is done, let's now move ahead to the next step. So next up, you now have to download the recovery for your phone for the OnePlus 8T and 9R. This is the link. So go to this link and you have to download the Recovery.img file. The zip file is there for Magisk flashable, but I will not recommend you to use this file. Just use the img file. And in case of OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro, you have again the img and zip file. I recommend you to use only the img file. No need for the zip file. And regarding the version, first off, you should try with the ROF version. And if something goes wrong, then only use the ext4 version. So as of now, download the img version and the ROF version. So I am not telling for the zip because the zip file is although Magisk flashable, but you will then have to first root your phone and then only you could flash it. Or you could also flash the zip file after booting your phone via the img file and then flashing the zip file. But it's not recommended to do so. You should always boot and flash the recovery using the img file, and the zip file should only be used if you are just doing an update of the TWRP. So if you already have the recovery installed and you are just planning to update the TWRP, then in that case you should use the zip file. As of now, we are planning to install the recovery. So for installing, you should only use the img file. So download the img file for OnePlus 8T and 9R from here, and for 8 and 8 Pro from here. As of now, download the ROF version and only download the img file. Once you have got the img file, place it inside the platform tools folder on your PC, as you could see, and rename it to TWRP so that the complete name becomes TWRP.img. Once you have placed the recovery file over here, let's now move ahead to the next step. So next up, you will now have to boot your phone to fastboot mode. So open CMD window inside platform tools folder and type in ADB reboot bootloader and hit enter. And with this, your phone will now boot to fastboot mode. The process will take up to 5 seconds. So let's just wait for the time frame. And after that, we'll verify the fastboot connection as well. So let's just wait for the phone to boot to the OS, to the fastboot mode. So currently you could see that device state is unlocked. This signifies that the bootloader has been unlocked in my case. Moving on, now you have to type in fastboot devices and hit enter, and make sure that you are getting a serial ID. If you're not getting any ID, then you will have to install fastboot drivers. I have made a separate guide and a video on the same. Please refer to my guide and install the drivers. Likewise, use the Windows X shortcut keys and choose device manager. Then expand the Android phone section and make sure that under the Android phone, your phone has been shown as Android bootloader interface. So this, as well as the serial ID next to fastboot, signifies that your PC is able to read the phone in fastboot mode, and we could now proceed ahead. Now the most important part, you should always first and foremost boot your phone to TWRP, never flash it. Though we have the liberty to flash it because our phone has a recovery partition, but please never directly flash the recovery. First and foremost, always boot your phone to the recovery and verify if the recovery is working well and good or not. So for that, type in fastboot, boot, and the name of the file, which is TWRP.img, and hit enter. So with this, our phone will now boot to the TWRP recovery. Never use the flash command, always use the boot command to verify if the recovery file is working or not. So as you could see, our phone should now boot to the recovery file, to the recovery mode, and with this, our phone is now in the recovery mode. If in your case, the phone does not boot to the recovery, then it will automatically boot to the fastboot mode. So if that is happening, then for the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro users, they could then use the ext4 version and again try the fastboot boot command, and this time their phone should boot to the TWRP recovery. But please always use the boot command first to make sure that the recovery is working or not. So our phones are now booted to recovery. So this signifies that the recovery is working fine on our phone. But as of now, since we have used the boot command, the recovery is there for the one-time usage. So upon the next reboot, the recovery will be gone. So let's now make the recovery permanent. For that, there are quite a few methods. I will show you all the methods, but I will also show you the method which I would recommend. But before that, let me show you all the approaches. So the first approach is you could go to install, then tap on install image, and then you have to select the Recovery.img file from here. Then select the recovery partition and check mark flash to both slots and perform a right swipe to flash it. But I will not recommend this method. You could do so, but generally I am against this method because I have the tried and tested approach of using the fastboot command. So I'm always dependent on the fastboot command method. That's the tried and tested with no issues. I haven't tried this method, but you could try it out and it will not show any error, but still you could try this method out. Or the next approach is to go to install, and now you have to transfer the TWRP zip file onto your phone. So simply download the zip file from here onto your phone. So let me show you that as well. Once you have downloaded the zip file onto your phone, you could transfer the zip file. Your phone should now be visible on your PC. So let's suppose your phone is not visible. In that case also, I'll show you what you could do. So for instance, you could also transfer the zip file. So as you could see, currently my phone is visible. So simply transfer the zip file onto your phone. It's the TWRP zip file. So let me try and access my phone once again and transfer the recovery zip file. So with this, we have got the zip file. So we could also flash it by going to install and now selecting the TWRP zip file and doing a right swipe to flash it. But again, I don't opt for this method. As I've told you before, you could also do so. In case your phone is not visible here, then you could also use the ADB push command to transfer the file onto your phone. With that said, I have shown you the first two methods. Now comes the method which I always recommend, that is using the fastboot command method. So now that we have verified that the recovery is working well and good, you should now boot your phone to the fastboot mode once again. For that, tap on reboot and select bootloader, and your phone will now boot to the fastboot mode, and now we will make the recovery permanent. So let's just wait for the phone to boot to fastboot mode, and let's verify once again. So our phone is now in the fastboot mode, and we could now flash the recovery.img and make the recovery permanent. So type in fastboot flash partition name, which is recovery, and now the name of the file, which is TWRP.img, and hit enter. The recovery file will now be permanently flashed onto our phone, and once the flashing is done, your phone will stay in the fastboot mode. Now you have to boot to the recovery mode. For that, type in fastboot reboot recovery and hit enter, and your phone should now boot to the TWRP recovery. Now if there is any issue, then the issue should only come at this point in time. If your phone now boots to the recovery, then it's mean that the recovery is well and good and there is no issue with the phone or the recovery. If something has to go wrong, it will only go wrong after you flash the recovery and boot your phone to the recovery mode. Regarding that, I will show you how to recover your phone from the boot loop, or in case something goes wrong. But now, as of now, we have flashed the recovery onto our phone permanently. Just to verify the same, go to reboot and select recovery, and your phone should now reboot to the TWRP recovery. So let's just wait for the time frame and I verify the same. So it should take only a few seconds. And as you could see, our phone is now booted to TWRP. So let's now verify if the recovery is working well and good or not. For that, let's try and root our phone via Magisk. So for that, I have to transfer the Magisk file. You could now also flash the APK file as well. So let me show you an instance of transferring the file via the ADB push command. Regarding ADB push, you could transfer any file. So as of now, let me first remove the Magisk APK file from my phone, and then I will transfer it once again. So this is the APK file. So first off, you have to download that if you are planning to root. In that case only, otherwise you could skip this section. I am just showing you whether the recovery works or not. For that, I am flashing the Magisk file. So just a minute. So your first course of action for that is to download the Magisk file. You could only download the img file. No need for the zip file, because you could easily flash the img file. Sorry, the APK file only. There's no need for the zip file, because you could download and flash the Magisk APK file using the TWRP recovery itself. With that said, you could refer to my guide, and at the time of recording, the version 26.1 is the latest build. So go there and download the APK file, and now you have to transfer the APK file onto your phone. If your phone is being shown here, then it's not an issue. You could simply do a copy paste of Magisk APK file onto your phone. However, if your phone is not being shown here, in that case you could use the ADB push command. So let me show you how that could be done. For the ease of convenience, let me rename the file to something shorter. So let's just rename it to Magisk, and now open the CMD window here and type in ADB push, then the name of the file, which is magisk.apk space SD card, and hit enter. And this should transfer the APK file onto our phone. So go to install, and as you could see, we have got the APK file as well, and we could now flash the APK file. So select the APK file from here and then perform the right step to flash it. The Magisk APK will now be flashed. You could also flash the zip, it's completely up to you. But since we will also be requiring the APK file after a phone boots up, that's why I'm using the APK file, because as of now, TWRP has only flashed the Magisk in the backend. In the front end, we will still need the UI to interact with, and for that we will have to install the Magisk APK again. So that's why I'm only dealing with the APK file. So with this, we have flashed the Magisk APK. Now go to reboot and select system, and your phone will now boot to the OS. Do keep in mind that the first boot up might take up a few additional seconds. That's completely normal and nothing to worry about. So let's just wait. As of now, we have flashed the TWRP recovery, and we have flashed the Magisk, and we will now have to simply install the Magisk app and then make the root permanent via the direct install method. So once that happens, so let me show you. Unlock the phone, select file transfer. Now as you could see, we don't have the Magisk app in the front end. So open the file manager app, and now you have to install the Magisk APK. So tap on install, and the app has now been installed. So tap on open, and you will now get a prompt that it's not. So let's just wait. Do keep in mind that the first boot up or the first launch of Magisk could take up a few additional seconds. That's completely normal and nothing to worry about. So if it's showing as a shell icon, as you could see over here, that's not a cause of concern. Simply again update the Magisk APK from here, and now tap on open, and you will now get a prompt that it requires additional setup. Tap on OK. Now select direct install. If you don't get that prompt, then again it's not an issue. Simply tap on install, select direct install, and tap on let's go. And now the root will be made permanent. And now you can tap on reboot. So this time around, our phone will now reboot to the rooted OS. And with this, we have verified that the recovery is able to flash the file as well. So let's just wait for a few seconds for our phone to boot to the OS. We'll verify the root, and then in the end, I'll show you how to fix a few issues in case if you have come across any issues with regards to flashing the recovery file. So let's just wait for a few more seconds, and then we'll verify the root and proceed ahead. So let me clear the platform tools as of now. Let me remove a few files. So let me unlock the phone, select file transfer. And now if I launch a Magisk file, It will take a few seconds to boot, and as you could see, we have obtained root. Likewise, you could use an app known as Root Checker from Play Store and tap on Verify Root. As you could see, our phone has now been rooted by a Magisk. It's running Android 13, and the app has got the Magisk request as well. So guys, these were the steps to install the TWRP Recovery on OnePlus 8, 8 Pro, 8T and 9R. In case if you are stuck in a boot loop or a soft break, or if it's showing as the boot partition or the recovery partition has got corrupted, then that issue will only happen after you have flashed the recovery and are trying to boot to the recovery mode. In this instance, if you have got any error, then it's not a cause of any concern. What you have to do is simply copy the stock recovery which we have extracted initially. So in my case, I have extracted the stock recovery file using the Fastboot enhanced folder, and this is the stock recovery. So simply copy the recovery file from here and then paste the recovery file inside the platform tools folder on your PC. Once that is done, simply you have to now boot your phone to Fastboot mode using the, as of now your phone might be in the Fastboot mode. If it's not there, then you will have to use the hardware key combination to boot your phone to Fastboot mode. So obviously you will not be able to use this command because you cannot access the OS. So you will have to use the Fastboot command hardware key combination to boot your phone to the Fastboot mode. And once it's there in the Fastboot mode, you could then simply flash the recovery file. It's a stock recovery. I am again saying, please make sure it's of the same version which was installed onto your phone. So now what you have to do is simply use the Fastboot flash recovery and the name of the file, which is recovery in my case. So recovery.img, and upon hitting enter, the TWRP recovery will be replaced by the stock recovery and your phone should then boot to the OS. So now you could type in Fastboot reboot, or you could also simply hit the power key and it will start. Make sure it's showing a start, then hit the power key or type in Fastboot reboot, and your phone should now boot to the OS. But it's along the obvious line that the TWRP recovery will be gone from your phone and it will be replaced by the stock recovery. So anyways, let me show you that as well. Initially, I had flashed the TWRP recovery, but just to show you the stock recovery process, I have now flashed the stock recovery, and since I have done that, my phone should now boot to the stock recovery instead of the TWRP recovery. So let me show you that. If I now type in ADB reboot recovery and hit enter, my phone should now boot to the stock recovery instead of the TWRP recovery. So let me show you that as well. So it will take only a few seconds and then we could verify the same. So let's just check out the process. And as you could see, my phone has booted to the stock recovery. It could take up to few additional seconds. So please don't worry, as you have seen in my case, it took a few additional seconds, around 15 to 20 seconds. But now you could access the stock recovery and then select the reboot device option, and my phone will now boot to the OS. So guys, on that note, I round off this video just to recall everything what we have done till now. So first and foremost, before moving ahead, so let me show you my guide, just a minute. So your first course of action is to take the backup of the stock recovery which is currently stored onto your phone, and then make sure that your phone is running on Android 13. Then you have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking and unlock the bootloader. Once that is done, you will now have to download the recovery for your phone. Regarding this, only download the IMG file. There is no need for the zip file. And in case of OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro, first try out the ROF version. So download the recovery and place the recovery file inside the platform tools folder. Once that is done, boot your phone to Fastboot mode, and then you have to use the Fastboot boot command to boot your phone to TWRP. It should now boot to TWRP, and if it's booting to TWRP, then go to reboot and select bootloader. It will then boot to the Fastboot mode, and then you could use the flash command to permanently flash it onto your phone. Once that is done, type in Fastboot reboot recovery, and your phone will then reboot to the TWRP recovery. And with this, the flashing has been done successfully. However, if in your case your phone is stuck in the Fastboot mode, then simply flash the stock recovery using the Fastboot flash recovery, recovery.img, where the recovery file is the stock recovery which we have extracted. You could extract using the MSM tool readback method or from the Fastboot enhance tool as well. So you could extract from any of these two methods and then flash it. And once the flashing is done, you could then boot your phone to the OS. And moreover, I have also shown you the steps to flash the Magisk zip file to obtain root. So this also signifies that the recovery is working fine. And with that said, I round off this video. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. And guys, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks. Thanks a lot for watching.